Hello, fourth grade. Welcome back to my basement. And for our second drawing together, this week I'm going to be doing Pokemon drawings with grades 3 through 6. So the third graders are doing Togepi. Fifth grade is doing Psyduck. And sixth grade is doing Pikachu. We are going to be doing Bellsprout. This is Bellsprout. He is a flower Pokemon. And he has certain powers. He has a vine whip. He can whip his vines when he's fighting. And he has poison powder. And he also has really sharp leaves that are good for cutting. He looks innocent enough, but I guess he's a pretty strong Pokemon. So if you're done with this one, you're like, hey, you know what? I want to try one of those other Pokemon. Go for it. Doesn't matter that there are other grade levels. If you want to do them, go for it. Draw them and don't forget to send them to me. Absolutely loved your Gary the Snails. The Garys were amazing. Some were painted, some were markered in, some were just pencil drawings. They came out really good. A little bit harder to draw Gary than I thought it was going to be, but you guys actually did an amazing job on it. So can't wait to see some of your Bellsprouts that you're going to send to me. Okay, so let's get cooking. Let's get started. You're going to want to turn your paper vertical up and down because Bellsprout is a very tall Pokemon. Not too wide, but you're definitely going to want to turn that paper vertical. Pencil, and of course an eraser. And I will erase the one that was here, and then we'll do it together. Okay. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, I'm going to start at the top of my Pokemon, his head, and then I'm just going to sort of work my way down, because that way if we don't quite get all of the roots and the vines at the bottom, it's not that big a deal. But I certainly want to make sure we get all the good stuff at the top and in the middle. So what I'm going to do is here's about the halfway point of my paper. I'm going to go a little bit higher than halfway, and I'm going to go a little bit to the left. So up a little and over, right about here, right about this part of your paper. We've got a little bit of room up here to make his head, and a lot more room down there to do all the other stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make an oval. I'm going to make an oval. Try to make it as even as we can on both sides. Hard for me to tell you what size to make it because I don't know what size your paper is. Some of you guys had nice big paper when you did your Gary the Snails, and some of you guys had a piece of copy paper at the printer. So it depends what size you're working. It depends. And then inside that oval, go. Inside that oval is going to be another oval. I'm going to color mine in simply because my marker is black. But if you color yours in, if you're using markers or paint or crayons or whatever, you're going to want to color the inside of the mouth in black later on. Okay, so those are his lips. It's also the opening of his flower. So now we're going to make his head. His head is kind of like a balloon shape that goes in a little bit at the bottom, but it doesn't go really far in. So the easiest way to do this is just a little bit in from the outside of your oval, make a little line like that, and then over on the other side, make a little line like that. So it's not on the edge, it's not in the middle, they're kind of sort of near the edge, but not quite as far as your oval is. Now this is going to be just one big line, one big swoop. So draw lightly. Remember, you can always pause this thing and stop it anytime you want. Draw nice and lightly, and obviously you're using a pencil, so you can very lightly sketch it with short, sketchy lines. I don't usually do that because I have a dry erase marker, and it's kind of hard to do that. So mine's just going to be one big swoop, but you do not have to do it that way. Okay, so I'm going to start a little skinny. Now I'm going to swoop out. and I'm going to swoop back in again. So it kind of reminds me of like a balloon or a hot air balloon. Or kind of like a bottle that's upside down that we're pouring something out of. I don't know. So it's kind of round at the top, and then it slowly, gradually, it comes in. So there's nothing sharp or pointy corners about this shape. Very round and smooth. Starts out thin, gets wide, and gets thin again. His face is going to be about the easiest thing you've ever drawn in your life. Okay. Pretty wide apart. It's going to be two little circles. These little beady eyes. And then we want to leave a little white reflection, so I'm going to draw another circle. And later on when you color it in, you color that black and you leave the reflection white. So he's got two little black eyes with just little white reflections inside. And that's it. Told you it was easy. Now for his body's kind of like a big branch or a big vine. So it's going to start right about here, and it's not that wide at the beginning. So it's pretty much in the middle of your head, maybe a smidge under the eyes. So it's going to be a little curvy. I'm going to curve to the right a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to the left. Kind of like that. Little curvy, not too much. I'm going to start out thin, and I'm going to get a little wider in the middle and the end than it was up by the neck. I guess you call it his neck. I don't know. And then his arms are basically two nice big leaves. We've done leaves before, right? They're going to start out pointy. It's kind of like a football shape. They're going to get really wide and thick in the middle, and then they're going to curve a little bit and get pointy at the end. So for the one on the right, I'm going to start inside my branch. So I'm going to actually start in the middle of it. And I'm going to go up, over, and down. Right? Up, nice and swoopy and round. I would go out as far as you could with your paper. These leaves can be as big as you want them to be. I really don't have any more room than that. And now I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to go down, nice and wide. And then I'm going to swoop up so that I can make a nice pointy leaf at the end. So it's kind of pointy on both ends, but this side's wider, that side's a little bit sharper and pointier for fighting purposes. Now, before I do any of the veins down the middle of the leaf, I need to erase this part of my body right here because we want that leaf to go over his body. And then we're going to do a nice vein right down the middle. Well, not really the middle, but from point to point. So it's a little bit higher than the middle. That's fine. Now I'm going to hop over to the other side and do pretty much the same thing, but this leaf can be different if you want it to. I'm going to start it right about where the other one is, I guess. This one's not going to go on top of the vein, or the vine, the branch, whatever you want to call it. It's actually behind it. So I'm not going to go over it. I'm going to start right on the edge of it. And I'm going to go up and over. You're not too far from the mouth right there. Up and over, a little curve at the end, right before the side of your paper. And then I'm going to come here. I'm not going to go all the way to here because then the leaf would not be attached to him. So I'm just going to go a little bit below it so it looks like it's attached. And I'll do the same thing I did over here. Down first, and then up. A nice pointy leaf at the end. And then we'll do a nice vein that swoops the same shape of the leaf and goes right to the end. Right? So those are his arms. Okay? Now the bottom are just kind of like the roots of a tree. Right? We did something like that when we did our tree in first grade, except We didn't do the roots on the bottom, we just did the branches going out. And if you remember, we forked off. We did the Y and then the V, and the Y and the V. So it's kind of the same thing. They're going to start to get a little thinner because roots are obviously thinner than the trunk part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this branch right here fork off. This one's going to go this way, and that one's going to go that way. It's kind of like his legs, I guess. So what we're going to do, anytime you're doing vines or branches or anything, they're always going to be a little wider where they connect, and then they get thinner at the end. You can make as many or as few of these as you want. So I've got one go down here. You can do as many roots as you want. They just kind of fork off. They start out as one and go to two. So you could just keep doing that if you want to. And the same thing on the other side. I'll have one go over here. And then this one kind of comes down. Have one come over here. That one goes into two. And then this one. Can really do as many as you want. Whatever you have room to do and you feel like doing. I really don't know what I don't know what background we could possibly do. I don't know. I guess we could just do a line like that if we want. You don't have to do any background if you don't want to. And that's our Bellsprout. That wasn't bad at all. That was pretty good. Now, if you want to, let me write his name on here. E-E-L-L Sprout. S-P-R-O-U-T. Bellsprout. I have a picture here that I'll show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see the colors that well. You can certainly Google him if you want to color him in. But you can see that his head is yellow. His lips are kind of like a pinkish color, like a coral color or a pink. Inside the mouth is black. The roots and the vines are brown, like a grayish brown. And the leaves are, they have two different color greens in the leaf, which you can do if you want, or you can just do them a nice bright green. And those are the colors of Mr. Bellsprout. Okay? So do not forget to send me Mr. Bellsprout. And in case you forgot, it's lowercase m d e l p o z z o at GermantownCSD.org. So when you're done with those, make sure you send them to me. I'll give you some feedback, just like I did with your Garys. Had a lot of fun doing that, so I look forward to getting these. And hopefully I'm going to see you guys again soon. But if not, we'll meet right back here in my basement and my whiteboard, and we'll do another drawing together. Okay? I miss you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.